What a crazy week it's been. What a crazy week it has been as we head out on our Sunday afternoon walk. And I'm going to tell you what, this week started about about as bad as it possibly could. You know, Mondays are Mondays. And there's a reason everybody said, thank God it's Friday, because it's Friday. That's right. And they call them miserable Mondays in a lot of places. But Monday's a spectacular day because it falls right after Sunday, starts a brand new week, and we're always excited about brand new week starting. But this week started with Chris having what scared me to death. I thought it was a stroke. She sure acted like it was a stroke, and I've seen the situation from strokes and other people. I was on the road when Chris had hers, so I didn't see it until the next morning. But it was simply a seizure. She had one 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago, as a matter of fact. And that one scared me, and it never even dawned on me that she was having a seizure at that time. I thought she definitely was having a stroke, and I thought she was dying in my arms. I thought that again as well, as I held her in my arms and cried out to God. I mean, cried out to the top of my voice. I asked Chris later if she remembers me doing that. She said she didn't, which is good. But screaming out to God to not let her die, to save her. He saved her now for 45 months or something like that, 3.5 years, over 3.5 years. And we work every day to keep her alive, to keep her from having another stroke. It takes a lot of pills twice a day. We check her blood pressure twice a day. And we've kept it all in check. They did increase her seizure medicine, so that'll never happen again, because I told that neurologist that I just might not be able to go through this situation once again. It's really mind-boggling and scary when that happens. And I have had comments from several of y'all out there, several of y'all men, and even a few of your women that have held your husband or wife in their arms as they die. I guess that's one of those deals that's bittersweet. To die in the arms of the person that you love and have loved dearly for years and years and years is probably a pretty comforting way to go. But it's awfully scary for the person you leave behind. And I told Chris this week, I said, if you ever die in my arms, I'm going to kill you. She told me it'd be too late. But it's very, very scary. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody, to be honest with you, because it's about as frightening as you could ever go through. I told one of my friends that they could hold a gun to my head and say they're going to pull a trigger in 10 seconds. I wouldn't be anywhere near as scared as I was then. I'm not afraid to die. I sure don't want to lose my beautiful Chris. And I'd probably spend those 10 seconds trying to talk them out of not pulling the trigger. Might be successful at it as well. But it was a crazy week. We started out that week with that. Chris ended up in the hospital in Tulsa Monday night. I slept on the couch there in her room. Stayed with her all night, took care of her. And that's my job. And I like it fine. Pat, who runs our production company, Pat Turner in Tulsa, sent me a text early that morning. He said, you won't believe where I am right now. I'm in the emergency room in St. John's, and I think I've got appendicitis. I think I'm having an appendix attack. And I told him, I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm just leaving the emergency room in Sulphur, Oklahoma, heading behind an ambulance to Tulsa. They're taking Chris up there. And he said, oh my word. So, and he actually got his appendix out. They just actually took him back to get it out about 10:30 or 11 o'clock that night, finally. And he's recovering this week from that. I actually had an appointment with the orthopedic surgeon about my shoulder and my arm on Tuesday in Tulsa. So we were there in Tulsa on Tuesday, so that did work out some scheduling good. I'm not going to have an operation. I needed an operation, but I was about to. I went in there planning on fighting that surgeon about that surgery and try to talk him out of it. He said, "How old are you, Jimmy?" I said, "I'm 80." He said, well, I'm not one of those surgeons just like to do surgery for the sake of surgery because we make a lot of money at it. He said, if you were 50, I'd say we'd need to do it tomorrow. And since you're 80, you're probably better off just not doing it at all. It's a long time recovery, a lot of pain, lots you have to go through, and you can fight that. You only have one tendon. You don't have a bisect now. You have a unosep, one sep, one tendon running to your bicep muscle. You have a torn bicep. You also have a torn, the tendon broken, the torn bicep, and your rotator cuff is bad. It's torn as well, and the rotator cuff has been hurting for quite some time. I thought that's probably what was wrong, and sure enough, it is. And honestly, it's there being torn probably from fishing, from setting the hook on a lot of big fish, from fighting those fish, from casting millions of casts. Like baseball players, you know, they have a lot of trouble with rotator cuff problems, and they have to have surgery on it if they want to keep pitching. Well, I'm going to keep fishing. I talked to my buddy Hank Parker, and he said he's had a rotator cuff tear for a long, long time, and he's going to put off the surgery just as long as he possibly can. And Hank is not 80. Hank's 90. No, he's really not. You might not tell it by looking, but Hank's not as old as I am. But he's not a youngster, and he's the same way as me. He'll just put up with the pain. One of the things that happens when you get old is you get really, really tough, and you get really, really tough as far as pain goes. You can stand an awful lot of pain and still get by and still exist, still function. And so that's what I guess I'm going to do. They mentioned some physical therapy. I don't know what's involved in that, but if I have time, I'll probably do some of that. Probably do very little of it, but if they'll just show me what I need to do in physical therapy, I will. I can do it anywhere, anytime. They show me what I need to do, teach me what to do, and I can do it in a boat. I can do it on the dock. I can do it walking out in the woods. I can do it whenever I want. So Monday and Tuesday was a really tough start to the week, but it all turned out good. Pat is fine. He's still in an awful lot of pain, not sleeping much, he said, but he doesn't really sleep a lot anyway. He's about as bad as I am as far as sleeping, so he doesn't sleep a lot anyway. But he's still in a lot of pain, and we cancel our filming in Arkansas this next week. We were going over to film with some friends over there, a couple of days of fishing, a couple of days of duck hunting. We cancel that because we don't feel like that Pat needs to be wading around in the water and running around in the boats fishing, handling all that camera equipment and all that. So we had to cancel that. Hopefully maybe we can get some of that done in January or February. But duck season is open in January, so we might be able to at least get a couple of days duck hunting in. Speaking of duck hunting, look over there. Look over there on the other side of the lake. There's a big bunch. I don't know if you can see them over there. I don't know if I got them in the camera or not. Big bunch of Canadian geese right over there. Right over on the other side. I don't know if I'm looking at them or not. They're right over there. You see them out there in the water? Big bunch of Canadian geese. Greater Canadians. They were great big ones. Great big ones. Looks like 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. 10 or 12 of them there. Beautiful big giant birds. Beautiful big giant birds over there. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. But after that little Monday and Tuesday escapade, I got Chris back down here at the ranch. Tuesday, we've had an incredibly great week since. The weather's been really, really good. Possibility of getting some rain tonight. It's been cloudy all day, but it's cleared off. And I don't know how that's going to work to get rain. It should be clear and then get cloudy if you're going to get rain. But had a possibility of a little bit of rain. We had a light run of 2/10 of an inch. 2 separate giant rainfalls of 1/10 of an inch. So we haven't even had a 1/4 inch of rain the entire month of December. But the week went exceptionally well. Chris and I here at the ranch together, and we had a great time, as we always do. And we really ended the week in pretty good shape, and absolutely no doubt about that. Pretty good shape. So went to church today. The deer are about out of the rut, by the way. We've getting lots of good deer video. It's more does and fawns showing up the house all the time. The antlers is well, we got really quite a few antlers this week as well. But TC seems to have come home. We're seeing him almost every day around the house. And he's lost a little weight out chasing, but he's eating really, really big time. So he probably gained it back. But we went to church this morning, and we had that Sunday. A lot of y'all probably had it Sunday at church, where you have your church Sunday church program, your Christmas program, they call it. Usually that's with the kids, and kids all the way from 2 or 3 years old up into teenagers. And can I tell you, Midway Hills Baptist Church was spectacular. We had a packed church. A lot of moms and dads and grandma and granddads and aunts and uncles come when their kid's going to be in a church Christmas party. I don't know why they don't come every Sunday, but they come when their kids are going to be in the church Christmas party. And the kids from a couple, 2 or 3 years on up to high school kids, and even young married couples helping in that, young married adults, and our praise choir singing. I'm helping along in that. It was a spectacular program. It was just absolutely spectacular. The little ones, the young ones, created a lot of laughs like they always do. They put smiles on your heart, just being them. They're just being them. They're not pretending. They're not putting on. They're just absolutely having a great time out there. And what you see is what you get. Some of them are kind of bashful. Some of them are pretty hyper. But it was absolutely spectacular. And when they ended that program, all of it, probably, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 kids up there, they ended by singing the song, all of them, the whole bunch, "Cast your eyes upon Jesus. Cast your eyes upon Jesus." That's one thing that all of us want to do one day. And it was spectacular. It was spectacular. They sounded like the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, I think. They just sounded absolutely fantastic. And brought tears to my eyes, because I think about, I'm closer to being able to cast my eyes upon Jesus than I've ever been. And I know that one day I'll close my eyes on this earth, and when I open them, I'll be looking into the eyes of Jesus. What more could a man ask for as he walks through this ice, and have the promise and the guarantee from God himself that you're going to be able to do that? You're going to be able to do that. And as I watched all of those youngsters up there on stage, going through the Christmas story and reading about the birth of Jesus Christ, which is what we're celebrating right now for Christmas. A lot of the world doesn't even know what we celebrate. A lot of the people here in the United States don't even know what we're celebrating right now. They send these people out on the streets and ask them what we're celebrating at Christmas, and a lot of them don't even know. It's absolutely sad. Let's get back talking about those kids for just a second. I want to end this thing. The week's just been spectacular, and the weather has been incredibly good. We're having 50 and 60 degree weather. 69 degrees yesterday here on Twin Eagle Ranch. 69 degrees, the middle of December. But I thought about all those kids up there on that stage, and I thought, that's the future of this church. That's the future of all churches. That's the future of America. And the more of those kids that are raised in school, the more of those kids that end up in Christmas programs and Sunday school classes, the better America is going to be. The better the families are going to be, the better the world's going to be. If you're not taking your kids and your grandkids to church on Sunday, boy, you sure need to be doing that. They're not going to want to go, most of them. Although most churches now make it pretty fun for kids to go to church. Maybe a little bit more fun than it really should be, but at the same time, they're teaching them about the Bible. They're teaching them about Jesus. They're teaching them about things that are important in life. They're teaching them good morals and good ethical standards. Take your kids and your grandkids to church. If you're not going to church yourself, it's going to help you a lot too, if you're taking your kids and your grandkids to church. Not only that, God will bless you. God will bless you. God will bless you when you go to church and honor Him. One day a week, His holy day, Sunday. A lot of people say Saturday. I worship God every single day. I think every day belongs to God. Every day is special to God. If I'm special to God, I want to make Him special to me every single day. And I know I'm special to God because He sent His Son Jesus to die for my sins. But if you're not going to church, just think about changing your lifestyle and getting your family involved in a good church. There's thousands of them here in the United States of America. I saw on television this morning, actually this afternoon, that the people in Syria, because of a change in government, Christians could go worship today. They could go to church and worship God. And I thought, and they were there just packing the churches. In Damascus is where they had the picture. And I thought, my gosh, we can go worship God anytime we want at any one of thousands of churches here in America. And yet a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. So I just want to encourage you to get involved in a local church. It'll change your life. God will see to it that it'll change your life. I've said it a million times. If you honor God, He'll honor you. And when you're honored by God, there's nothing better that you can be honored by. No person, no thing, no nothing that you can be honored by better than being honored by God. So guys and girls, have you a great week out there. This coming Sunday, you get a chance to go to church, go. Real quickly, I guess next Sunday will be the last Sunday before Christmas, so that will be Christmas Sunday, I suppose. Churches will be the most crowded that they are all year long. A lot of people go to church twice a year, Christmas and Easter, just to show God that they love you, just to love Him just a little bit. But God asked us to assemble ourselves together. Honestly, He didn't do that for His benefit, although I go to church to worship God. That's what I go for, to worship God. But you can worship God in a lot of places. I worship Him a lot out in a bass boat, just like I do in the church pew. But God asked us to assemble ourselves together with other Christians and to worship Him. I'm going to do it until the day I die. And I recommend, if you want your life to be better, as you walk through this brief period of time on the earth, get in that church every Sunday. You'll be absolutely, and the first church you go to may not be the one that you end up with. Go to a church you're happy with. Go to your church where they preach the gospel of Jesus, where they preach the Bible. Not a social club. It's a place to worship and praise God. Guys and girls, have you a great week out there. Fish lucky, and remember, I sure do love you.